Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and all those in between, and welcome to ArguMovies. My name is Luke,
And I'm Dom.
and today we're talking about Deadpool and Deadpool 2. Dom, what movie are you arguing for?
I'm arguing for Deadpool 1.
And that means I've got Deadpool 2. So, as we said in the last episode, this is a podcast where we just argue about movies. Nothing more simple than that.
Very basic concept.
So
And I'll punch anyone that disagrees.
Yeah, he would.
Okay, so I'm gonna start this off by saying I think I'm going to lose.
You picked the movie.
I did, you're right. Because like as much as I love Deadpool 1, it's a very good film. So is Deadpool 2.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that like Deadpool 1 is so lucky to be made. So like the budget was limited, and it's a very it's a very like basic villain and stuff.
Yeah,
like
the villain is terrible.
And there's not a massive overarching theme.
No.
I mean, you've got the two films you've got. Deadpool 1, it's all about love, and then obviously Deadpool 2, it even starts off and tells you it's a family film.
Yeah.
In a sense, yeah.
Yeah.
Family. Yeah. So like, love is a very broad theme.
Yeah, but if you have to sum up both movies, they do broadly relate to love, but in a kind of it's their way, but we're not really about that. They're odd movies. I feel like they kind of had to do something a bit more than what the comics used to do with Deadpool, which is just kind of he's here, he's wacky, go for it. They had to do a bit more.
He's zany.
Yeah, because a lot of people didn't know who Deadpool was, so it made it a bit harder to make a movie around him. You had to include things to sort of get people in that had never heard of a Deadpool. Whereas us that have read the comics, we're kind of like, well, what's the point in all of this? Just do Deadpool.
Yeah. I mean, these films won't even been made without Ryan Reynolds being an absolute gem of a human being.
Yeah.
So it's like, to get started from Deadpool 1, what literally catapulted Deadpool into massive like pop culture icon at this point. Everybody knows who Deadpool is now.
Yeah.
It's that bridge scene.
Yeah.
In Deadpool 1, what they open the film with, and I think that might be the best set piece in like all of them, in both of them. And I don't think Disney will top it, because they are making a Deadpool 3.
Yeah.
But like, I don't think they're gonna top it.
Depends how much budget they've got. If they've got the budget and the willingness, they could do.
That's also the difference between my film and yours. Yours had a bigger budget.
Yes.
Yeah, much bigger budget.
Yeah, because people already knew at that point Deadpool, it was gonna be a hit.
Yeah. But obviously it nearly didn't get made, and then Ryan Reynolds leaked the little thing with him talking to the camera and then jumping off the bridge. He leaked that, and people like, where's the film?
Yeah. Cheers, Ryan.
So much demand. Yeah, so much demand they had to, So yeah, for Deadpool 1, it opens up, and it opens up with him in the taxi. Which, great, it's such a simple way to open the film.
Yeah. It works quite well because, it gives people that aren't used to Deadpool kind of a bit of an insight into what he's like, because it shows him breaking the fourth wall and being goofy.
Yeah, so it's like most superhero films, it's either you start with an origin story, or you start with sort of like parents died or whatever, like the classic we're sick of it shit. But no, for Deadpool, he went, we're starting in a taxi with some random side character who ends up becoming a loon in the next film.
Yeah.
And their like back and forth is great because Dopinder's just like confused to all hell who this random guy he picked up is. All he knows is he's a guy dressed up, and then obviously you get to see his face reveal. People who don't know Deadpool aren't expecting to be some. You don't expect.
He doesn't look as ugly as I kind of wanted him to look. It's a bit disappointing.
He still looks like a shriveled up ballsack.
Yeah, just not as much as he should do. I think it's because, we've got Ryan Reynolds in, we have to still make him look somewhat attractive.
I guess, but like, also like, he's not gone through as much as what Deadpool in the comics has yet.
No, not yet.
He's only the only reason he looks like that is because of the scene later when you get sort of his origin, where he's just burnt. He gets burnt down to like nothingness, and that's the only reason he's charred.
We could essentially still get the Deadpool where like he's got the string connecting his lips and there's holes everywhere. But that's kind of what I'm wanting. But
that would also have to be like he would have to be an older Deadpool then because his regeneration factor, as well. I don't think it's gonna. We can't really include all the pop culture references. Like,
no,
it's part of the comedy, and if we point them all out, we're gonna talk for ages. But that's what makes Deadpool so great is that it's a superhero film where you can just watch it. You don't have to look for little details.
No,
you can just sit there, you laugh, you like.
Yeah.
So you have the little back and forth between Dopinder and him, and then you get your first brilliant after they've had that conversation and stuff. He gets out the taxi, and you get the first where he just breaks the fourth wall perfectly. He starts talking to you, and I'm so happy that the studios didn't get to interfere with that. Because, if they took that out, people would have been angry.
It wouldn't be Deadpool at that point.
It's central to his character. He needs to be like, "Hi, I'm in a film."
Yeah. He needs to be overly ecstatic that he's finally got his own movie and like, how has this happened, you crazy people?
Yeah. And what helps with this Deadpool is that it was when Fox was still a thing, he could take the piss out of his other bromance, fucking Wolverine.
Yeah.
I like that they could do that. They had multiple Henry Jackman little like Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman. I thought it was Hugh. Oh, I'm not with it today. I'm telling you. You know who I'm on about. I say Jackman, you think big buff guy.
Yeah.
So, and then you get what is essentially Deadpool's catchphrase off the bat, which is maximum effort. In the film sense, that's his catchphrase. Yeah. And what's great about that is like you realize later on in the film that Deadpool is so fucking lazy. Like he will do things as simply as he can.
Yeah.
Because he likes to have a laugh whilst doing it. Like he's so disconnected from the world. So like when he's actually, it feels like it's more to psych himself up.
Yeah.
To be like, right, I've got to do this now. So when it's for like, if it's for love or whatever, he'll have to pump himself up to get into it. And then we get into the car fight, and it's so good. It's so good. And you get to see that it's a hard R like rating. For us, it's an 18, but
15.
15.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. I remember because I was 17 when it came out, and I went to the cinema.
Christ.
Me and a couple of friends were worrying that we wouldn't be able to get in because we were like, "Oh, is it going to be an 18? Is it going to be an 18? What are we going to do if it's an 18?" And then we found out it was a 15. We're like, "Yes!"
Oh wow. We don't give a shit, do we?
No.
So you start to get to see that you get Deadpool cracking jokes as he's pummeling guys, bonking his head off the horn and stuff.
Yeah,
and it's like when he throws the guy out the back of the car, he just turns and goes, "Ha!" It's so like that. It immediately shows you that Deadpool doesn't like the character in this film doesn't care.
No.
He will laugh at you if you're in pain.
Yeah.
Like, it's great. And then we get to what was in the intro, where it has all the gratuitous cameo and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You get back to that scene, and it does something that like a lot of films don't, and Deadpool gives its like a lot of comedy films don't, but this one does. It gives itself time to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like he's in the middle of this massive fight that we're not sure why he's doing it. We just know he's doing it. Yeah. And obviously the car flips over, and it pauses on him for a second just to be like, did I leave the stove on or whatever made it into the final cut? I don't fully remember because I remember in the trailer or something else.
Yeah, I remember.
So obviously they
can't find the trailer.
They ADR'd it. No, probably not. But obviously they ADR'd it or whatever. It was a separate cut, but it's fine. It still works. Yeah. But they give it time to like that joke shouldn't land because it's a very simple
Yeah.
But it does because it's in the middle of all this. It works.
Yeah.
And then after the whole car flipping and everything, we get goons in black vans pull up. Stereotypical.
Yeah.
Bad guys, every film has them though. So they all pull up, and then we get the counting bullets scene, which it's just great.
Yeah,
it's so good.
It does look really nice.
There's no massive overuse of visual effects. It's all obviously we know the bullets aren't real and stuff like that, but it's the fact that like Deadpool took the time, he took the time to imprint numbers onto the back of the bullets that obviously the only people that are going to see that is us.
Yeah.
So it's like it makes you feel like he's done it for that purpose.
Yeah.
Like if he's counting the bullets in his head and shooting them, he's not he's not looking at the back of the cartridge, is he?
No.
No.
He knows that we're there and that we'd enjoy that.
Yeah. And then you get I still think one of the funniest jokes in the whole thing is like he misses a shot, then he goes, "Bad Deadpool," and he literally just pulls up to the guy around the other side and goes, bang, shoots him, and then goes, "Oh, good Deadpool." Tickles me so much. It makes me laugh a lot. And then you get the sick. Obviously, he shoots a grenade out of a guy's hand. It's brutal. And then you get the sick triple spin, headshot, triple shot, where I like that the bullet is slowed by momentum and just lodges itself in there. And then Deadpool says what we're all thinking at the moment as well when this guy pulls out the knives. It's like, what are you doing? You've just seen this man put a bullet through two of your friends' heads, and you think you're going to take... He's got swords, you've got knives.
Yeah.
Deadpool's like, really? And then that's when we get to the next, phase of the film, so to say, when he shish kebabs that guy.
Yeah. Where it takes it goes back in time and shows, it shows the beginnings of the origin story, because that's obviously split over parts of the film.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And then intro for Deadpool 2.
Yeah. So, I think that Deadpool 1 probably has, in some areas, a stronger opening, because obviously Deadpool 2, it opens immediately, gas canisters everywhere, and then it shows before you even see Deadpool, you see the Logan alarm clock, and he sets it. It's just funny that he's angry that Logan's taken pretty much some of the things that made Deadpool special, and he's gone, well, if he can die, I can die better.
Yeah,
and it's just him, gasoline canisters, smoking, flicks it up, boom, and you see the arms, and the legs, and the head go everywhere. But it's
Oswald's talking to us.
Yeah, because obviously, if you're going to blow yourself up, you may as well talk to the audience whilst you're doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
So then, at that point, I don't think that's as strong as Deadpool 1's opening, because it's a bit. I find it a bit much, a bit too. Oh look, isn't that funny? Whereas I think the taxi scene isn't quite as, look, isn't this funny? But obviously, bigger budget, you got to up the ante. Then after he's been blown up, then you get the jump forwards and the jump backwards in time with.
But you're missing a very key bit here. Is the fucking James Bond opening?
Well, I'm getting to that. That's later on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. It's after it's shown him fighting the.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what nationality they're meant to be. Japanese, Chinese, Korean.
They're meant to be like Yakuza.
Yeah,
they're Yakuza. Okay. So I would assume that's Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I assumed it was, but I didn't want to, I didn't want to go. They're definitely this one or this one. Whatever they are, he's fighting them, and it's funny that he doesn't understand their language, and he just immediately asks, "Where's the library?" in Spanish. It's so stereotypical. I imagine it's pretty much the same in Canada and America, because he is Canadian, but whether he was educated in Canada or America is unknown. But I imagine it's the same as over here, where learning a language isn't really done. You kind of do it for a bit so you can remember a couple of things, and that's about it. Because obviously...
Bonjour, je m'appelle. There you go, that's the extent of my French.
I can say bumper car in French. I remember it because it's auto tamponné. I believe it's that. If I'm wrong, please tell me. I've been saying that's the thing for ages now. I do remember it from GCSE French, but I could be wrong.
That's so funny. It's amazing.
So then, obviously, we've got the fantastic scene where he says, "Hit it, Dolly." I just love that he's got Dolly Parton playing. I think it fits so well. I never expected it to fit, but it really does.
Yeah, the Deadpool films are really good at making songs that don't fit.
Yeah, they really are.
I will say the choreo in that, like the Yakuza fight, is great. With the swords, it's really good. Like, we don't really get loads of proper choreography in like Deadpool 1.
Yeah,
it's more
there's less sword in Deadpool 1, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few scenes towards the end where you get like nice little but there's nothing like that where it's a nice one big long pan around. But again, bigger budget.
Yeah.
It's a good
it's
a good scene.
So then after that you've got
it's very John Wick.
Yeah, it does actually feel a bit John Wick. It's the coloration of everything and the style.
Yeah, it's the colour palette.
Yeah, it does look quite John Wick. But then, of course, after that, you get perhaps one of my favourite mixtapes in any film, the James Bond opening, because I love James Bond. I love the movies. I've read the books. I love James Bond. And I find it hilarious when they take the mick out of James Bond. I know you're a bit in on James Bond.
Celine Dion did not need to go that hard.
No.
Like, she did not need to go that hard for that opening for this film.
Yeah, no.
You know?
But the fact that she did makes it so much better.
Yeah, she went that hard, and like all the visuals are great as well.
They are.
Just like every James Bond opening. Yeah. Like, I'll admit, like every James Bond opening is a marvel to look at.
Yeah.
But like the Deadpool 2's opening is great. It's really good.
If it wasn't Deadpool, it could realistically be a Bond opening. No question.
Yeah, exactly. Like Celine Dion should 100% do a fucking James Bond film after that. But like, also, what makes that so much better as well is, I don't know if you have seen it, but have you seen on YouTube that Celine Dion doing it like live? Like the music video is Celine Dion doing it with Deadpool dancing around it. Like doing doing ballet. He's like doing ballet like around it. It's great. If you've never watched that, after this, you need to go and watch that. It is so funny. It's such a good music video. So I suggest you. It just makes it. I think they released it straight after the film got released. So like if you wanted to look stuff up after the film, that would be the first like recommended. You know. Yeah. It's very good. Yeah, it's got a better intro than like that. Just that little like, it's got a better title card than Deadpool 1.
Yes, yeah. But obviously, Deadpool 1 had a harder job to do with its intro, didn't it? You know, it had to introduce a crazy character to most people who had never even heard of him.
Exactly. Yeah. I think Deadpool gets the first one gets the point for the intro.
Yeah.
It's how on board it gets you immediately. You don't even know why he's killing these people.
Yeah.
But you're just like, he's doing it for a reason. Trust.
And most people will immediately expect, oh well, he's a hero. He's got his reasons for it. Yeah, a bit hero. Yeah. Maybe not really.
Yeah, and then obviously all Deadpool 2 really had to do was like, it just has to set up the new story. It didn't need to set up Deadpool.
Yeah.
So
it's not as bogged down, really.
It's very hard for sequels to be better than the first one, and I don't know. I don't know. I remember when I saw Deadpool 2 in cinemas, I was very like, I'll bring it up later, but it's like sometimes the jokes, they stuck on a joke for too long. I think sometimes
there's moments like that.
I'll get that in. I'll get that in the conclusion though. So right, next for Deadpool, we have the flashback to meeting. I didn't write her name down. I've gone out my head. Is it Vanessa? It's Vanessa, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it is also like Daredevil. Yeah, Vanessa. So Vanessa, we get to see some of like Wade's past. We find out he was a hitman, assassin / merc. You know, he's the merc with a mouth, etc., etc. You get to meet T.J. Miller's character, who groans on.
Yeah, he's okay in short sequences, but whenever he has to do anything for more than a couple of minutes, he kind of gets annoying.
I'm not a fan of his improv. I'm happy he's very much less in the second film.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, you get after that scene where it's like, well, who's Keely there just shitting, you know, after that whole funny, like, he threatens the pizza, and you find out he's not even there for that guy. He's only broke into this guy's house, shit in his litter box, and then opens the door and he's there for the pizza guy.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
It's the most Deadpool thing you could do without even being Deadpool yet.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, what I do like is they very much try not to have Ryan Reynolds. Like, they try not to have Wade break the fourth wall.
Yeah.
It's only Deadpool that does.
Yeah.
There are a few scenes where Ryan Reynolds, it is Ryan Reynolds who gets to poke fun at his old films.
Yeah.
But other than that, they try to avoid it. And we actually find out, like, after that scene where he meets the girl who's doing it for, she says that he's his hero, and Wade very quickly turns around and says, "No, I'm not that." He very quickly tells the audience, basically, "I'm not a hero."
Yeah.
After you know, and he's as anti-hero as you can get. And this whole film's meant to sort of like, I suppose it's meant to like try and make Wade feel like he's redeemed himself and stuff. Yeah. But after that, you get, "I'm not a hero," you know, and then he goes to the bar to pick up his money. And you know, you get to see the Deadpool, which is a nice little, and it's got some great names up there, like Ryan Reynolds' names up there. I think the guy who helped make the film's up there. Tim Miller, is it? I think his name's up there. Dolly Parton's on the board, I'm pretty sure. So's Mike Tyson. It's like, okay, it's quite a lot of like nice. It's just a funny board to look at and read over. And then we meet Vanessa, who I think is a great character.
Yeah.
I like her character a lot.
She is.
I just like that actress as well. If you've ever seen Gotham, she was amazing in that.
No, I'm not watching it yet.
Oh, it's you would enjoy it. She's really good in Gotham. Maria, I can't pronounce her last name, but it begins with a B. And they do. What I like about this is obviously she's a hooker, yeah. And then instead of it going straight to a sex scene, because it's a rated R15 film, they could have just gone straight to a sex scene. But no, they show that Wade actually wants to try and impress this girl, so he takes her to a fucking arcade and does some of the nerdiest shit I've ever seen, which I love. Like he wins tickets to buy her this little like stupid ring, you know, and it's really cute, to be fair, and it's like some nerdy shit that it's nice.
Yeah.
So we get all that. And then it's sort of like jump cuts a lot. Mm-hmm. It's basically a sex montage.
Yeah.
It's a massive sex montage. Which, I mean, it's a good way to show a passing of time. Because obviously they're marking different occasions.
Yeah.
You know? They have like Thanksgiving, Christmas.
I love that Lent, they don't do anything.
Yeah. And it's like, they have, oh yeah, it's just hey, I love you. I love you too. That's it. But they have that. They have the whole. They show Ryan getting pegged. Well, they show it as best as they can.
Yeah. You're not going to show that on screen.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Ryan gets to have his topless moment. You know, everything. It's funny, and it's also very sloppy.
Yeah.
I'd never treat food like that, ever.
It's just not on. It's wasting good food.
No. It looked like good cake, and they're going, you know, like, no. So then, at the end of the montage of sex, we get what is probably fucking... It's just... Ryan pulls out the ring, doesn't he? Wade pulls out the ring. And then it jump cuts after she's like, where was you hiding that? You're not wearing any pants. And it jumps cut to just his bare ass. And then he goes, nowhere? It's like, it's so good. It's such a funny jump cut. And then she says yes, because she's amazing. And then, she says yes, and they lie down, and they have a nice little, like, cuddle, where you find out that they're both nerdy as fuck, because Vanessa makes a Star Wars quote, and obviously Wade like says, yeah, exactly, and it's like, she's a nerd too.
Yeah.
It's just a nice little. It shows the passage of time well, and shows that they do love each other.
Yeah.
You know, they've got their own place. Her hairstyle changes and stuff, you know, and Wade seems to have chilled out a bit as well.
Yeah.
So it shows that they were actually like settling down, which sort of obviously makes sense for the rest of the plot later on.
Yeah.
I don't know if. I suppose it's all one big flashback, and I suppose you can technically like split them into little arcs each. But like, I feel like when he finds out he's got it's pancreatic cancer in it.
I think he's got cancer in his brain, liver, lungs, pancreas, and prostate.
Yeah, it's like Everett. It's bad.
Yeah, a lot of cancer.
Terminal.
Yeah.
Terminal.
Yeah. Not long to live.
Yeah. We find all that out. Vanessa, bless her, tries her hardest.
Yeah.
But Wade sort of obviously he shuts down. Because he's just found out he's about to fucking die.
Yeah.
Then we get to the bar. After all, you know, get people trying to fix it. They have a argument, Vanessa, and because Wade's like willing to just lay it down.
Yeah.
but Vanessa still wants to keep fighting. And then he goes to the bar for a drink, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
And we get more T.J. Miller. Just don't like him. I really don't. We get more of him, and then I will say he does get a funny line where he goes, "There's a guy here to see you." And he's like, "What does he want?" And then he goes, "I don't know, but it'll advance the plot."
Yeah,
and then
that's good.
So that's when
the only person that's not Deadpool to break the fourth wall.
Yeah. And then he speaks with the guy, and then we jump cut to the present where he's got that guy. Sheesh.
Yeah. Right. So in Deadpool 2, at this point, so we've had the James Bond Mick take. It shows him back with Vanessa. It shows him killing a bunch of guys. There's one guy on fire. He's like, that guy's actually on fire. That's not CGI. He's actually on fire. And then we've got the panic room, and he's like, "Can you come out? It's my anniversary." Which I really like. He's got priorities. Yeah, he's working, but he doesn't want to be too late. So you kind of think that's not really going to go anywhere. It's just a bit of fun,
Yeah.
And then obviously you get back to the flat, and you see he's talking to Vanessa, and she looks mad at him, and he's like, "I'm sorry, I'm late. There were a bunch of handy-capable children stuck up a tree." No. Yeah, I was fighting another Caped Crusader until we discovered his name was Martha. His mother's name was Martha too, which I love that line. It's so good. How they were allowed to do that, I don't know, but it's fantastic.
That's why some of the comedy's better in Deadpool 2, because they got away with so much. Yeah. They were allowed to reference both comic series. I don't understand how they.
They're taking the mick out of how in Batman vs Superman that's the dumbest reason for them to suddenly agree with each other. What? Your mum has the same name as his mum? What?
Why did you say that name?
It's so bad, and Deadpool taking the mick out of it makes it amazing.
Yeah, he used the name Martha. Good.
Yeah. So we've got the scene. So he eventually explains why he was late, and she's not angry. But then it's their anniversary, so they've got each other gifts. He's got her the ski ball token made out of high-grade lead. And she's taken out her birth control device, and they start talking about having children, and you're like, oh, so it is actually a family movie. They're going to have a family. Maybe we'll get a little nipper Deadpool. And they start talking about names, and he wants to call the kid Todd, because Todd's a great name. I don't get why Vanessa doesn't like the name Todd.
Nah. Toddy. I really like the line, "Kiss me like you miss me, Red."
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I liked it when I heard it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It feels like something that would get said to Spider-Man, though.
It does a bit.
It works.
Mind you, there's always the joke that Spider-Man and Deadpool, Deadpool's secretly ripping off Spider-Man on purpose. With his costume.
Yeah, well, Deadpool, in the comics. In the comics, Deadpool, in certain comics anyway, Deadpool's in love with Spider-Man.
Yeah,
they're as best friends as they can be. Yeah. Carry on.
So we've got them discussing having a child, and then something happens I don't quite like. Deadpool, suddenly time goes slow, but Deadpool's like, everything's still at the same speed for me. You're not the Flash. You can't,
Yeah.
Which I don't like. I don't like that he suddenly knows that someone's... He doesn't have enhanced reflexes.
Sense, doesn't he?
Not really.
It's like Spidey sense.
Yeah, but it still feels a bit forced.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying. He's got powers that he hasn't had ever.
Yeah, it's a bit odd.
I guess the way you can look at it though is you could look at it as Deadpool's reading the script.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've never thought of it that way, but that's how I'm going to think of it from now on.
There you go. I've improved the scene for you.
You have. So then after that point, you've got those people coming in, and Deadpool kills all of them, bar one, because he doesn't want to have to use the cream cheese spreader. And then there's one last guy, and he throws the cream cheese spreader and misses. And that guy gets... Then that guy ends up shooting Vanessa, sorry, that's what I was trying to say. Ends up shooting Vanessa, and Deadpool loses it. He loses his mind at that.
I'm very unhappy that they killed Vanessa.
I kind of like it because it makes her maybe feel a little bit like Mistress Death, but not really. You know, he can never really be with her because he can never die.
Yeah, I guess, but it's also like, I don't know.
I don't think they needed to do it quickly, but
yeah,
I don't know.
We'll see where they go with it. I guess, but
Disney make a Mistress Death,
also,
that'll fix it.
Also, like, how does Deadpool miss?
Yeah, he never.
I don't like that either. Yeah, like what? And even when he does miss, he's typically got a backup to,
Yeah.
In Deadpool 1, we literally see him throw a sword through a motorbike, Stokes, to stop it. Yeah. But he somehow misses it. It's whatever.
It feels a bit contrived.
I don't like Vanessa's death.
Yeah. You're just upset that she's gone.
Yeah, it's like, and yeah, she comes back in the film technically, but like, it's not
the same.
But
it's nice to see Deadpool lose it because that's his one grounding anchor to reality. Vanessa's his one thing that makes him feel normal, and now that's gone. So
I don't know if you would have heard that then.
No. So you see him chase the guy. He jumps out of the window to get the guy, and then you see
which
him.
Is a cool shot. They do it like horror movie like.
Yeah, it feels like a horror movie at that point. You see him eventually get the guy, and you think he's going to kill him. He's going to kill him immediately, and you can see this first. He's losing it in his head. Grabs the guy, hugs him, and then he starts dancing and gets hit by a truck.
That it might be the most brutal way to kill someone I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, this guy's scared. This guy, he's fucking frightened, and all Deadpool does is start dancing with him, and then jumps into a truck with him.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, crazy.
Yeah. It's a good little scene.
Yeah, it is.
And then you get like a montage of him trying to kill himself after that point.
Yeah.
It's a I don't like I say, I'm not a big fan of the whole Vanessa Deadpool missing thing.
Yeah. It could have been done. She didn't need to die, but at the same time, she kind of did need to die. It's a difficult decision to play there, really.
Yeah, I think that's why I enjoyed the first film, like the stuff, because it feels very tropey, doesn't it?
Yeah.
He's killed the love interest. It feels very It is basically Deadpool's like mum and dad dying. Mm-hmm. It's what it feels like.
Yeah. I imagine to some people, when you see that guy first run away, you might immediately think, "Oh, he's going to become the villain of the film," and then you see Deadpool catch up with him, and no, he's not the villain of the film. Which is quite nice actually. It's a bit different than most other movies that go for the love interest is dead angle.
Although I would love to see a cut where this guy who's now shit scared of Deadpool is just consistently running away. I'd love to see a film like that. This guy isn't trying to fight back; he's just trying to hide.
Yeah, he's just doing anything to get away from him.
Yeah. And Deadpool basically just Terminators his way to get to him.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
So we end up with Deadpool in the bar, and he explains that he got everybody apart from himself. And then he explains that he tried to kill him. He he tried to kill himself with the explosion with the gasoline. Couldn't do it. Didn't work.
Yeah.
And then we see him in Blind Al's flat, and it's nice to see the joke about the masses of cocaine and the cure for blindness actually being there.
Yeah.
I really like that they show that he's actually there.
Yeah, it's great. It's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good payoff to a joke in Deadpool.
Yeah. Well, no, he's not killed himself yet. Actually, he's not attempted to kill himself yet. It comes after that because the cocaine makes him do it. So he stuffs the cocaine in his mask, and poof, that's quite a waste of cocaine, really.
Yeah, but he probably can't get high anyway.
No, his body would probably stop himself getting high immediately, wouldn't it? Yeah, kind of like the Captain America situation where he can't get drunk.
That's a terrible existence.
I don't know how you'd cope.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
So as you can tell, guys, we are British. It's quite a common thing to drink over here.
Yes, I've got a San Miguel glass right next to me. Like the cure for blindness. Yeah. He probably can't get high. Mm-hmm. I don't think he can get drunk either.
No.
His metabolism probably deals with it.
He's probably just doing it because it's what he used to do, and maybe it gives him some semblance of reality, but not really.
It might be a like a placebo sort of thing.
Yeah.
Well, like if he thinks it'll happen, it happens. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we finally get the explosion with the gas canisters. Boom. And then we see Colossus come in.
Yes. Who I you know what? I don't mind Colossus's CGI.
No.
It feels like it's very deliberate.
Yeah.
Because they could have improved it in the second one, and they left it pretty much the same.
Yeah.
You know? So it feels very deliberate. I'm fine with that. I love when we meet Colossus in Deadpool 1. Mm-hmm. I love Colossus's character.
Yeah.
Because he's just so he's all good, and because he's Russian as well, it's very unexpected. Typically, like Russians are bad guys, you know.
Yeah, normally Russians are the villains.
And it's funny. Like in Deadpool 1, the first time we meet him is with Negasonic Teenage Warhead at the mansion. And you get a nice little meta joke from her where she's like, she says, like, what's the benefits of being in the X-Men? Is it the matching unitards? The house that blows up every 4 to 5 years?
Yeah.
You know? Like, it's a nice...
I love how Colossus spins it in a good way as well. You know, house blowing up builds character.
House blowing up builds character.
It's such a him thing to say.
I love the way that they find out that Wade's killing people by watching TV as well.
Yeah.
It's such a, like, you'd think superheroes, they could find out any other way. Nah, just watch the TV. And we'll fly over to... Yeah. And then we see that Deadpool gets Ajax. Spoilers. He gets it. It's very cool the way he gets it, because like you don't even realize that's the main guy. Like, you know, because like he's just you would think he's like just another like throwaway villain, because he's in all black. He's got the black helmet and stuff. But no, he stops him. He has him in his grasp. He fucking stabs the guy and pins him.
Yeah, and
then Colossus, the massive wanker, he drops in, and then obviously like. It feels a bit like continuity error to me, because like Colossus wants Wade to be on his team. Yeah, he wants him to be a good guy. So why is the first thing Colossus does when he gets there is backhand Wade into a car?
Yeah, it's a bit odd.
You know, it's like you want to talk to him. He's gonna talk. Like it's not even like he's got an issue with Wade torturing Ajax, because he allows it whilst he's talking to him. You know, which is great. It again shows like Deadpool's disconnected reality, where he can have this normal conversation with these two and still be throwing shit at Ajax. You know, like he throws like a tire, doesn't he? Like a tire plate He just chucks it at his fucking head. It's like, yeah. So Colossus backhands him into the car. I think does it? He goes, "Shit just went sideways" in the most colossal way. Which nice play on words. It flashbacks there, doesn't it?
I think. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, and then we get back. So yeah, we see. We find out pretty much from Ajax, like he's the big bad, basically. And then it flashbacks to when Wade got his powers. We get a nice little as he's being taken in. We get the funny joke: "Don't make the super suit green or animated." Yeah, we get the whole "Don't make the super suit green or animated," which obviously because Ryan Reynolds classically hates that film.
Yeah,
and we're not going to invoke its name. That film. And then we get as he's being taken through the. I don't know if it's like a psychiatric hospital or whatever. It's not very explained. It's obviously we realize it's not like a good place. No, it's very shady. Yeah, you get to see Marrow, like a cameo from Marrow, and then we get to see that, like, even though Wade signed up for this, it's maybe not in his best interest because Ajax starts being a dick. You get Gina Carano's character is also a dick. You know, you get a very funny line that causes her to punch him, though. And if you didn't know, in some behind the scenes, that line, the less angry Rosie O'Donnell, she actually punched Ryan Reynolds for that one. And after the take, after the take, he goes, "Sorry, Gina," and she just starts laughing and goes, "You motherfucker!" It adds some levity to like the, So we get him knocked out, and then some time passes. We get another montage where we see him being tortured, whilst he gets like injected with serums and everything. All the guy wanted was to not have cancer, and now he's being tortured. And that's when we start to see his psyche like crack, basically. And obviously we get Ajax being like, you get like the joke earlier on in this, like you get the other really funny joke in the scene where it's like, because Ajax is sick of Wade's constant like shit talk. He's like, "I'll sew that pretty little mouth shut." And Wade turns around and goes, "Oh, I wouldn't do that if I were you."
Definitely don't ever do that again.
So we get that, and then that's when we find out Wade stole Ajax's name tag. And I don't care to remember his name because it's not important.
Francis.
I didn't write it down. Francis. He takes the piss out of it. Like it's one of those jokes that like it doesn't work for me.
Yeah, no, I don't really get it, to be honest.
I get why, because it's meant to be like he hates his own name because it's not even a British name. Like Francis is not very British.
No.
So like it can't be that it's because it reminds me of home or whatever. I think the only reason he says it so much is because he's the only one that like found it out when he shouldn't have. So it's there. If you want to laugh at it, you can. If you don't, you don't. But you get Francis, and that's when Ajax gets all pissy, because he found out his real name, and that's when he sticks him in the oxygen deprivation tank. And I couldn't imagine anything scarier.
That would be horrid. My word.
Tied him down, stuck him in it, and deprived him of oxygen for it was over a weekend. It happened.
And
it's like, Jesus Christ. So like, the constant state of being, it's awful. Anybody's like brain would snap. But then we get the way he gets out is he causes an explosion. So it's like pure oxygen in it, and he gets a spark. Blows up the entire building. Although I get why Deadpool survives that. I don't fully get how Francis survived.
No.
Because he's not superhuman. Maybe he just can't feel pain.
Yeah, maybe he just got out.
I guess the explainer is like he was in the upper bit of the building because he walks down the steps, doesn't he?
Yeah.
To get to him. It's like where was Gina Carano's character?
I don't know.
Was it her off day?
Maybe. She went on holiday that week. She was having nice holiday in Mexico.
Yeah.
Getting a tan in.
Yeah. But then we do get a very cool fight scene. This is I think this is the most choreographed fight scene we probably get, where it's just two people fighting.
Yeah.
Is Ajax versus Deadpool, which you don't actually expect Deadpool to lose as violently as he does.
No.
I mean, he gets two, and we're not too sure of Ajax's powers yet either. Mm-hmm. We don't actually know what he's got. We've seen him get stabbed, and he didn't grunt at it, but that doesn't click at the time.
No.
And then you see that he can hold up with Deadpool.
Yeah.
So we have a fire extinguisher fight, which is rare. And then obviously Deadpool loses, after being tortured for what is like a month, getting stuck in that deprivation tank for a weekend. He then gets stabbed through the chest with rebar. The rebar gets bent, which is a nice way to show that Ajax is super strong.
Yeah.
They don't announce it. He can bend rebar,
mm-hmm.
And then he's stuck in a burning building to die.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would go fucking mental as well.
Yeah, you would do.
It's a very simple and quick way to show why Wade is how he is, and that's when he's now Deadpool.
Yeah,
is after that burning building scene. Yeah. Then we. Yeah, and that's the end of that little bit. I'm trying to remember. We don't go back to Colossus yet either.
No.
We got another flashback scene after that where he can't see Vanessa because he thinks he's too ugly. Yeah. I guess is the reason.
Yeah,
I think
that's it.
I guess, but I mean, also if the story's about love, why would she care? But whatever. They need to have a plot. And then we get more T.J. Miller. And it's one of those scenes where he gets to ad-lib a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, just shut the fuck up, And he technically helps name Deadpool, which I don't like. Yeah. That's that whole little bit. There's some more after that, but I want to save that for it's a separate thing because it will lead back into the Colossus bit, like a story arc. So
I guess now at this point in Deadpool 2, we've got Colossus comes in and picks up Deadpool's pieces.
Is Deadpool 2 longer? It is. Isn't
it? I think by a bit, but not by much.
Okay, yeah.
So Colossus has picked up Deadpool's bits and takes him back to the X-Men mansion, Xavier's school for gifted. And then we see Deadpool's healed up and just lying on the couch. He's not bothered, and he's taking Cerebro for a spin because it's there. So good. Why would you not have a go?
Yeah,
I
love that. Like Wade can walk. He's just no.
Yeah, I love that. He says that Cerebro smells like Patrick Stewart. It's just so good.
Yeah,
and Colossus the whole time is like, that's not how Cerebro works. Like, yes, it is now. Deadpool's made it work. Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't Deadpool imply that Colossus has been using Deadpool's cum as lube? Not lube, but moisturizer.
That's later on, yeah.
Yeah.
So after that, we get Deadpool in the wheelchair, rolling around the mansion, asking where everybody is. and then suddenly you see everybody in one room, and they're like, "Oh, quiet,
might be the funniest joke in a film I've ever, like the most funny meta joke in a film I've ever seen. It genuinely might be the best, because I remember watching that in cinemas and being like, "Oh!" like freaking out. You know, I didn't even. I laughed. I didn't know how to react because it was like, "Hey, what?" you know? I'm not even a big. Yeah, I'm not even a big fan of those films that much. Like, I love Evan Peters and everyone, you know, and I love James McAvoy and who plays Magneto? Oh no,
his name.
Michael Fassbender.
Oh,
that's who it is. Yeah, I love all of them. Like they do as well as they can with those films. But it's just the fact it was there.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, you know, it was such a freak out moment.
Yeah,
it's like when you. I'm trying to compare it to like a twist that you know, it's not even a twist. It's one of the best things in any film ever. Period. It's great.
It is.
And do you know why that came about?
I don't actually know.
So literally the behind the scenes for that is they happen to be filming on a set close by. So, you know, there was like, "Do you want to just come quickly do this?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure." Yeah, that is literally the only reason. It's such a great, like, you know,
it's fantastic.
There's a lot of really good cameos in Deadpool 2.
There is.
There's one later on that's funny, because it's a split second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carry on. And then we get Colossus saying that he wants to be friends with Deadpool. Like, he sees potential in him. He doesn't want to give up on him. And we get the whole friends show up. Not when it's easy, when it's hard, and you always make it hard. And then Deadpool just looks at the screen and goes, "It's great." And Colossus is good because he's able to sort of dish out the hard truths that nobody else can in these movies. He says to Wade, "Vanessa's gone. She's not coming back. You need to be here. This might not be the family you want, but it's the one that you need."
Yeah.
And it makes you kind of think that Colossus, yes, he's harsh in what he says, but it's really what Deadpool needed to hear.
Yeah.
So then we get the hug, and Wade's down on Colossus's butt, because why not? It's just the typical Deadpool thing to do.
Yeah.
And then we get Deadpool's got a mission, and he's wearing the trainee jersey, which is really terrible, but it's great.
Yeah.
Just why didn't Negasonic Teenage Warhead have to wear that, though, at some point? I want to see her wearing that terrible jersey. It would have been hilarious.
Yeah. I like her character.
Yeah,
quite a lot.
She's interesting.
I don't fully know what her powers are. Does she, like, is it transfer of energy sort of stuff?
Yeah, just energy goes from her body and blasts out.
Yeah, I think, she's cool. Yeah. She's got a cool, and I agree with Deadpool, she's got a cool name.
Yeah, she does. So they go for the mission. It's to get Russell, who's acting out all crazy because he's at this terrible school. Why would he not be acting out all crazy? Anybody would.
Yeah.
And somehow Deadpool's the only one that can talk any sense to him. You know, you'd think that perhaps Colossus, everyone tells Deadpool don't escalate things, so he tries not to. And
he even gets his superhero landing.
Yeah, but he does have to eventually escalate. Put your hands behind your knees and your head on the ground.
Yeah, he knocks Russell out in the most Deadpool way.
Yeah, throw the sword. It's the butt of the sword that hits him.
Which again, that still counteracts how he missed. If he can hit
Yeah, he should have hit the guy with the cream cheese spreader. I also like in that bit where he busts through the window and he says to the kid, "Stay in school, kid, or don't. I didn't, and look, I'm an X-Man." And the kid goes, "Trainee," and he signed the box and he's put Ryan Reynolds on it, and it's got Hugh Jackman on it.
Yeah,
it's just so great.
I love the little rivalry that Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds have. It's great.
But they've brought it into the movies now. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's so good.
So we've got Russell gets the thing put on him, and then Deadpool kind of sees it from a new position. He's like, "Wait a minute, there's a reason he was acting out. I'm going to have to do the right thing here, but it's going to be seen as the wrong thing."
Yeah.
And so he kills one of the guys, and that means he gets the collar put on him.
They like depower them or something.
Yeah, it blocks all mutant abilities and
bit of a weird
gimmick,
but sure,
you know, why not? And then they get taken to the ice box.
Yes,
which the ice box that looks like a really cool setting, to be honest. You could do some interesting stories there.
It's a cool place to have a prison.
Yeah. You could definitely do a couple of just mini stories in there of mutants just learning to adapt without their powers. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like that Russell's being pushed away by Wade. Not because Wade doesn't care for him, because he, at this point he says he doesn't, but I feel like he does a bit because he did the right thing for him before, which got him thrown in there. But he's pushing him away because he knows he can't do anything for him. All he can do is just lie there and die. That's all he's able to do at this point.
Yeah, I'm actually with everything. Shouldn't Wade technically die immediately as that collar got put on him?
Well, no, because his regeneration factor is it heals the cancer as quickly as it can grow. So it's only gotten to a certain point, the cancer,
right?
And then it's just constantly being healed.
Yeah. Well, that's the reason his skin's so in the comics. That's the reason his skin's so gross. Like the first time, because it's killing him as quick as it can heal him.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There is one, like, he wanted to die so badly, and now that he could, I'm surprised he didn't try and find a way to kill himself.
Yeah, he could have just jumped from like his cell, because it's quite a big jump. He could have jumped and landed dead, but he'd rather just wait for the cancer to kill him.
Yeah,
it does feel a bit odd. But then obviously as well, you've got Cable coming in, and Cable's so cool.
Josh Brolin is a very cool actor.
He really is. I like how Cable kind of feels like the Terminator in the original Terminator movie.
Very Terminator.
Yeah.
I like how planned he is.
Yeah.
Like everything he does up until Deadpool gets involved feels like it's going exactly how he's planned it.
Yeah. Everything's done how he wants to do it, and no other way.
Yeah.
And I like that it shows him, because a lot of people don't know who Cable is. If you've never read the comics, you go, "What the hell's a Cable?"
Yeah.
So it's nice that they kind of introduce him as a villain, because non-comic readers go, "Oh, this is the villain for the movie. He seems pretty cool." And then comic readers will go, "Oh, they've made Cable the villain? Interesting, but why not?"
There isn't really a villain in Deadpool 2, is there?
There's the Juggernaut, but
he's not like, he's there. He's not there to be like a key villain. There's multiple, I guess. There's like 3 different villains by the end.
Yeah.
I guess the true villain of the entire thing is Death.
Yeah.
If you want to go by that, is like that Wade's his own villain. His powers are his villain, I guess.
Yeah, he can't ever truly get what he wants.
Yeah.
Which is just to die.
But yeah, and then we get you get to this bit. This bit's really cool. To be fair,
yeah, the fight scene between Deadpool and Cable. Deadpool's collar eventually comes off, his powers come back, and he's all broken over the table beforehand.
It's really good CG. It looks brutal. Yeah. I don't know if it is CG. They might have got like a contortionist in, or, to like bend over the table,
or maybe just made a dummy of Ryan Reynolds' body.
Yeah, it's brutal though. Yeah. It looks painful. I remember cringing. I was like, oh,
yeah. You know? I will admit I do like the fact that Deadpool's like, oh, you're from the future? I have a couple of questions. Asks his questions, and one of them, is dubstep still a thing? Dubstep wasn't even that big of a thing when the movie came out anymore.
Yeah, it was a weird choice, and they chose Bangarang, didn't they?
Yeah, I think it's because it wasn't that much of a thing at the time, so it's funnier that Deadpool wants it to still be a thing in the future.
Yeah. It's dubstep sort of thing. I love the straight after that as well. Mm-hmm. It's the I'm Batman. Yeah. I love that he got to do that. But it's like in the middle of a strain, isn't it? He's being like choked out, isn't he? What? Yeah. Oh, that's why it's like Cable's like, who are you? And then he looks directly at the camera. It's so good.
They really let him go hog wild with some of the stuff he could do in this one.
Yeah, he got to. Oh, it's really good.
And then
the comedy is like top tier.
Yeah, you've got Cable, taking the high grade lead with him, and Deadpool eventually gets out of the icebox from this fight, and he falls and falls and falls. He's hit rock bottom.
Has a second brutal death.
Yeah,
he smacks his head off that rock. I'm like, fuck.
That's a nasty wound.
Yeah.
He comes out of the ice as well, and that's not what you'd want.
No.
And you have to remember, Deadpool feels pain still.
Yeah. Did Cable fell out of there with him, did it?
Yeah, but I think Cable landed a lot better. Right, no, Cable used his arm, didn't he, I believe?
Okay, yeah. And then Deadpool, okay. Right.
So Deadpool eventually gets back to the bar, and he's realised, I need to protect this kid now. This is what I'm here to do. Because he has the imagination of Vanessa. Gets back to the bar, and he's like, I need a team. And the team building scene is just fantastic, because it's just cameos from different celebrities.
It's really good. And they have some. Yeah, it's really good. It's a nice montage. And Domino's great.
She's fantastic.
Such a cool power as well.
It's great that they were able to make Look appear amazing.
Yeah. It's like
it's such a hard thing to do.
She gets a nice comedic moment as well herself. That if it's like she's like, oh, my power's Look, and they like laugh at it.
Yeah.
And then as they're laughing, like, I'm like, you're on the team, and she's like, yeah, I know.
Yeah. Well, she's lucky.
Yeah, and then if you notice, so obviously all the other people that like Deadpool chose on his team, he stabs all of them with like a knife to pin them up, doesn't he? But with her, it's a nice little like place tag.
He straightens it out. He's like, what is wrong?
Yeah. But I feel like that's also her powers. Like she don't want any,
Yeah.
It's good. It's nice. It's clever.
Yeah. So do you want to carry on Deadpool 1 for a bit?
Yeah. By this point in the film for Deadpool 1, we finally get back to see what this film does well as well. Deadpool 1 is that it does jump about a lot, but it's still coherent.
Yeah.
Like you're never lost. So we do finally jump back to on the bridge again. We now know what Ajax has done and why he's gone after him. We've learned a bit more about Wade. We've learned a bit more about why he's broken and why he wants to kill Francis so bad. Which makes the whole like back and forth between Colossus and Deadpool work even better.
Yeah.
Like now, so Teenage Warhead is there, but she's not. She's more there to be, as Deadpool puts it, all frowny. You know.
Yeah.
He says you're just here to look mad and all this. But it's very Deadpool tries to avoid the whole conversation with Colossus as best he can. So it's like Colossus brings up like, you need to come with me, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then instead of acknowledging that, Deadpool's like, and who's this? What's your name? To her. And she's like, Negasonic Teenage Warhead, what's yours? Negasonic Teenage Warhead, I'm Daredevil. What? He's like, Daredevil, Deadpool. And whilst this is happening, he's literally like still toying with Ajax.
Yeah.
You're having the whole the conversations like it's about morality basically, which is fair to bring up. I like that Daredevil. Jesus, Deadpool. I like that Deadpool. He just blows it off because he doesn't care. He doesn't ever really answer Colossus's thing. It's like Colossus wants him to be a good guy, but he just wants him to stop killing or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But it's like, why? I'm still on Deadpool's side though. It's like this guy's literally tortured him.
Yeah.
And then we get to see Deadpool get in the midst of this conversation. Ajax gets away, and then Deadpool, being Deadpool, tries to fight a big metal man.
Yeah,
and it goes about. It goes about as well as you would expect. He punches him and he breaks his hand. He punches him with his other hand, breaks his other hand, and then you get that. I love. It's such a good comedy bit where he just turns to the camera and goes, "All the dinosaurs feared the T-Rex." He's flopping his broken hands about, and then Wade, because he's still angry. Like Colossus just stood there, not dealing with it.
Yeah.
Wade goes to kick him, breaks his leg. And that's when he's on the floor, like incapacitated, and we get the first subtle nod to well, it's not subtle; it's very blatant. Where as he's being dragged off by the handcuffs, which if those neck things exist, why does Colossus not have cuffs?
The X-Men probably just don't want to use them because they don't want to limit mutant abilities.
Yeah, I guess. But as he's dragging away, he's like, "You're coming with us to the X-Men," and then you get Wade who goes, "What is it?" He goes, "McAvoy or Stewart? These timelines are so confusing."
Yeah,
it's like that's brilliant because at that point the timelines were very because Days of Future Past hadn't come out yet, had it? Which fixes everything. So it was a good line at the time, and it still holds up now. As he's being dragged away, you also at this point you really get to see how much Wade just doesn't care about his own body anymore. He cuts off his hand just to get away from it. He doesn't even fully cut it off. He ends up ripping the rest of it off.
I like as well that he says, "Have you ever seen 127 Hours? Here's a spoiler."
Spoiler, yeah. It's a good scene, and then we get to meet Blind Al for the first time after that. We race straight to we get to see that he has dope in this cab with he puts his gloves and stuff in there, doesn't he, and his mask. And he's starts talking to the camera in it's a very Ferris Bueller's Day Off sort of way, the way he starts talking to it at this point, which they do laugh at in the end credits. And he's absolutely seething that he didn't get to kill Ajax. Livid. And then we meet Blind Al. You get a nice I don't know if she's meant to be a mother figure for him. I feel like she's loads of things to him. She gives him good advice, but she does it again like Colossus. She does it in a very abrupt way.
Mm-hmm.
She's very just truthful about it. And then you get, like, they have a lot of good back and forth. Obviously, you get the cure for blindness is over there with all that cocaine.
Yeah.
If you ever find it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We get to see. I'm not a big fan of the joke because it's a bit gross. It's the I bet it feels huge in this hand. You know, it's
yeah.
like,
you know, it feels like it kind of had to be there, but at the same time, no, don't put it in.
Yeah, because they reference it being a baby hand. It's like I don't, you know.
Yeah.
But I get what they were going for. I laughed at it at the time because I was younger.
Yeah.
Looking back at it now, I'm a bit like,
Yeah.
And then that whole section ends, and I'm trying to think, how do we jump to? Because after we have a scene with Francis, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
We have a scene with Francis. He's sat waiting for somebody in it with the at the helicopter, and he's got to do the thing that it's. If you've never noticed this trope before, there's a channel called Cinema Sins, and he's the one who's pointed it out before. It's like all the bad guys, pretty much in any show ever, eat apples.
Okay.
And Ajax is sat there eating an apple. You know, it's like the arseholes of the world eat. Look it up, honestly.
Right.
It's a genuine like trope.
Yeah.
Like the bad guys eat apple. It's weird. So we've got him waiting for somebody, and then he has to try and. You have a scene with him and Gina where you find out his powers. You know, he can't feel pain. You know, and stuff like all his nerves endings and stuff. And he's like super strong. That's his thing. And that's when he finds out about Vanessa.
Yeah.
You know, and that's when he's like, it's a very like to get through him, to get to Wade, we have to go through her. You know, and then Wade finds out, and that's when we like jump to him being like. He goes back to the bar. That's it. Ajax comes to the bar.
Yeah.
You know, threatens TJ Miller's character and everything. And then obviously he's gone there to like, I'm going after Vanessa, you know. He's doing it so Deadpool knows.
Yeah.
And then we get to like pretty much the final 2 acts of the film.
Yeah.
Which there's a due to funding issues, I've completely missed the scene here as well. My head's all over the place. I missed the third montage for finding Francis. It happened just before the Colossus thing.
Yeah.
That's how but it's fine.
Right.
It's funny. It's just another montage in it. I can't really talk. The reason I'm not talking about it is because like it doesn't actually add to the story too much in terms of arguing about it.
No,
because it's a montage. You can't. It's funny. It's just there to be funny.
It's just
like,
him upgrading his suit and looking for Francis.
Yeah, that's it's not like
a lot of Deadpool 1 is him looking for Francis though. Really.
Yeah. Exactly. That's why I'm forgetting something because it's like it wasn't. I didn't write it down because it wasn't important to try to argue about. Yeah. So Francis finds out from TJ Miller's character about Vanessa and everything, and then obviously Deadpool goes to the bar. TJ Miller's character's like tells him about it, and then we get to the final 2 acts.
Yeah. So I guess I'll carry on with Deadpool 2.
I think Deadpool's 2's middle's stronger.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely.
Just because it's a lot of like Deadpool 1's just it's the comedy more than anything. It's not really like I say that it moves very fast. As well.
Yeah, it's very sudden in everything it does. I also don't like in Deadpool 1 how it jumps around so much. Like the time frame jumps around so much, it just bothers me.
I don't mind that. I'm fine with it because I can keep it.
Yeah, I can keep up with
I'm
it.
still engaged.
It just annoys me a bit.
That's fair.
I can deal with it if it's like a little bit, but if it's constant, it kind of feels a bit annoying. Just like pick a time, be at that time. That's it.
Yeah.
So at this point in Deadpool 2, we've got all the X-Force are assembled. Obviously, he does the speech saying that we're going to be X-Force. Isn't that a bit derivative? Shut up.
Yeah.
And they're talking about jumping out of the plane, and Peter's great. Peter's like, isn't it a bit windy? And Deadpool's like, I served for 16 years in Special Forces. You ever think we didn't jump out of a plane because of a light breeze? And then he's immediately, I'm only screaming at you to look tough for the other guys. I'd never let anything happen to you, Sugar Bear.
Peter's a great character.
Yeah. But every group needs a Peter. I mean, X-Men has Archangel. Ooh, edgy.
Yeah.
Archangel.
I've got wings.
Peter.
I've got wings.
We're gonna get somebody just going. Actually, Archangel is my favourite character. He's perhaps one of the most powerful mutants that exists. No, he's really not. He has wings.
Mate, his power is he can fly.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but Storm can do that.
Yeah. There's many other characters that can fly and do much more.
It's stupid.
So you get them all jumping out of the plane. I love that they all jump and Peter's like crawling, like shuffling his bum off, doing it like the beginner way because he's never done it before. And Deadpool kind of has to push him.
I'm sorry, that's
and they all.
This scene's great. This scene is very good.
Yeah, the jump doesn't go well. Deadpool gets stuck on a billboard, and he looks up, and they're all flying all over the place.
Yep, because it's very windy.
It is very windy. So, who's the first one to die? I think it's Terry Crews' character that dies first.
They all die.
Yeah, they all die. Peter lands. Peter is the only one to land initially. Lands safely. And then Peter goes up to the guy who can spit acid vomit, and tries to help him. Like, Peter is a true hero. Like, he dies a true hero. He's trying to save somebody at the expense of his own life.
Yeah, he's being blended, isn't he, by a wood chipper.
Yeah.
And then
the guy spits on, and then he spits on Peter, and that's how Peter dies.
Yeah, and then you get the ninja.
Yeah.
Who gets chopped up.
Yeah.
And then
the Vanisher gets electrocuted.
Yeah, you've not seen his face, have you, the whole time or something like that? And then when it does, it's you don't know who it is, and then as he's being electrocuted, it's just Brad Pitt.
Yeah, that's it. It's Brad Pitt.
in the shortest cameo I think I've ever seen. It's basically like 2 frames. It literally goes, and that's it.
Yeah.
If you blinked, you missed it. Literally, it's a great cameo. That's how you do a cameo. Other than the X-Men earlier.
Yeah.
It's really good.
So they're all dead, and Domino and Deadpool are the only ones that have survived. Domino lands exactly where she needs to because lucky.
Yeah. Yes, and she lands with it's such a cool seeing her land because shit's already gone wrong, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so she gets right at the truck.
Yeah.
And Deadpool, in the commotion of they're all trying to help the other heroes, Deadpool nicks this girl's moped, and she looks at it like, "Hey!"
Yeah. Yeah.
which it's great because obviously he just doesn't care.
I'm actually kind of sad because like he didn't sort of like Deadpool. Actually, he has that whole speech about how he feels that they're a family, and then he just brushes off all their deaths.
Yeah, but he's probably only saying that so that they'll fight harder.
Yeah, I suppose.
Because he doesn't really care at this point, does he?
No,
he's still only trying to do right so that he can die and get to Vanessa.
Yeah, true. So then he's on his way to the...
Yeah, he's on his way there.
The big armoured truck.
Yeah. Domino has a really nice fight scene with Cable. And
yes,
Cable even says, I'd ask your name, but you're going to be dead in a couple of seconds. And Domino's like, I'm Domino, and I doubt it. I really like that she's so self-confident because she's able to be. Like, how could you not be
exactly.
with those powers?
I love it. It's nice to have like a female supporting lead who can be super confident without help.
Yeah.
Like she never feels like she only has one point where she's like in danger.
Yeah.
And you do see the fear on her face. Like amazingly. Like I can't remember the actress's name, but she's in a lot. She's been in quite a lot and she's really good.
Yeah.
But seeing the fear of her being like, oh no, in that moment she thought she was gonna die, and then obviously luck kicks in and Deadpool,
Yeah. We also get the scene with Deadpool driving the car, stabbed through the guy's foot, and he's like through his butt driving.
Yeah.
I love that he's talking, this is way harder than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
And Cable gets kicked off the thing and jumps back onto it, and Deadpool's like, well, I can do that. Goes for it. Nope, missed.
Yeah.
I love that.
And then you get another... And then just after that, there's another cool scene, isn't there, where he references Origins again.
Yeah. He does the whole blocking the bullets thing with his swords and completely misses apart from the first one. I love that he misses.
I like that it takes a second though, because you don't know he's missed until he's like, ah!
Yeah. It's such a him thing to do, to miss all of them.
It's really good. Yeah.
So then eventually Cable gets away. And the truck crashes. Domino gets lucky. She lands in the big inflatable thing. Everybody else, not so lucky, but they still survive at least. Russell gets the Juggernaut out. And I love that Deadpool's fangirling over the Juggernaut. It's just amazing because he captures what everyone...
huge!
And Deadpool captures what all the audience was thinking, like, Juggernaut! Yeah. Everyone was kind of like that. And Deadpool doing that is so amazing. And then Juggernaut being the Juggernaut, I'm going to rip you in half now. And Deadpool's still like, I'm so amazed. Just like,
yeah. And then you literally get to see him ripping him half.
Yeah.
It's brutal. Wade's got a lot of brutal deaths.
Yeah.
He doesn't even die. He's alive. He's alive because don't both Cable and Domino walk up to him at this point?
Cable
does not. No, Domino does. And he's just there like, will help.
Yeah. I love that he says, oh God, I can't feel my legs. And then he reaches over. Oh, there they are. It's such a terrible joke, but I love it.
Yeah. Do you know who voices Juggernaut?
I know. Is it Ryan Reynolds still?
Yeah. It's Ryan Reynolds voiced him.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean,
because it's just a massive CGI. It's quite good CGI. Because like, obviously there's no man that big and bulky.
No.
You know.
Like, he's like
9 foot.
Yeah.
He's like 9 foot tall, isn't he? And then obviously he's fucking built like a truck.
Yeah.
And then you get some weird side plot shit with Russell and Juggernaut.
Yeah, that's kind of. I do like Russell saying that Juggernaut has legs and Wade doesn't, which is nice. You know, he's like, legs. It's great. I like that. I don't like the whole rope thing. That's a bit cringy, but I know that it's meant to be cringy because Russell's still a kid and he's still into that cringy sort of comedy. And then we get Domino carrying Deadpool like a backpack, which, you know, I know he's not got legs, but he still must be heavy. So
well, I mean, he also lost pretty much all his internal organs.
Yeah, but he'd still be heavy. Like, you'd think that Domino's luck could kick in and like a wheelbarrow would just roll along or something.
Or maybe her luck is that like he just isn't as heavy as normal. Maybe that is the luck.
Yeah, maybe. So do you want to carry on with Deadpool 1 a bit more, and then I'll wrap? Then
I'm at my last 2 acts. You've still got quite a bit of film to go.
A little bit.
That's fine.
Not really.
Yeah. So we get to the strip club scene, which obviously 15 got to have tits in the film. So we get one of the Stanley cameos that we all know and love. That, you know, rest in peace for now, obviously. It's a great cameo as well, though.
Yeah, it's so different to all the other ones. It's great.
Yeah. What is it? He's like, and coming up now, we have Candy. You know, he's talking about strippers. It's great.
It's just not a Stanley thing, but it's great that he's doing that.
It's nice to... Yeah, it was nice to see that Wade was actually going to, actually go to Vanessa. But obviously, it's too late. You know, we find out, you know, somebody says, Vanessa, there's somebody waiting for you outside. And we all think that it's going to be Wade, obviously, Deadpool. And then she goes outside and it's Ajax. And it's like, fuck. And then literally Wade's like, 5 minutes behind him? You know? And then that's when we get Deadpool going to the mansion. After being like fuming, you know. He goes to the mansion. He asks for... No. He goes back to Big Al's with TJ Miller. And Big Al's there. Big Al?
Black Al.
Yeah. She's big. So we go there, and he packs all his guns, throws in a Hugh Jackman magazine, just
in case,
which ends up using later.
Yeah. Like nothing happens in these movies for just if it happens, it gets brought up again.
Yeah. So he packs all the guns. And then I will admit, this is a very funny, because it's sincere honesty from TJ Miller's character's part, where he's like, I would go with you, but I don't want to. And it's just the only way Deadpool reacts to that. He can't get angry. He just goes, yeah, and he just walks out. You know. So he gets in the cab with Dope, and we go to the X-Men mansion. Next to Teenage Warhead opens the door. My cat was meowing. Sorry. Opens the door, and we get a nice little back and forth between them. But it's him asking for help, but he's trying to do it in the least asking for help way he can. Yeah. It's a very funny little scene, and then just because he has asked for help off both her and Colossus, you know, they've said yes, basically. At the end, he's also got to turn around and goes, seems a little, seems like the studio can't afford more people. You know, as he's walking into the mansion, like he had to leave it on a like funny like fuck you note.
Break,
yeah. And then we get the nice, we get a cab ride to the. I'm sorry, but it's a Avengers helicarrier. It's a Shield helicarrier that they're on. It is. They've even got you can even see the turbines in the big little explosion later on. Well, obviously they can't call it a helicarrier because copyright issues at the time. So we get a nice little we get the hero shot. You know, we get Deadpool, Colossus, and and then this is where the budget was unfortunately not enough for Deadpool 1, because we get there and Negasonic Teenage Warhead turns to Deadpool and is like, "Where's your duffel bag?" You know?
Yeah.
And the only reason he doesn't have it is because they weren't granted enough money for the scene that they wanted to do.
Yeah.
So all those guns that he packed were going to be used, but the studio was like, no, this is your budget, this is what you're having.
Yeah.
You know? So they had to basically rewrite the whole of the final act. Which is a shame, because obviously it was fucking rocket launched into success.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But then it doesn't matter. You get the funny scene of like Deadpool and Doping. There's some back and forth about kidnapping this guy's like and then so Deadpool tries to get the weapons back and he can't, because Doping can't answer because he just crashed his car. He's dealing with the guy that's got lots in his trunk. It's like, no. So we don't get the guns, but luckily, obviously, he's got Negasonic Teenage Warhead, who could pretty much take everyone on that on her own anyway.
Yeah.
So we get Gina Carano's. You get she did the superhero landing. Everyone superhero landing. You get the whole which became referenced for everyone ever. Like films basically had to stop doing superhero landings because of it. Like they don't do them anymore. Like the last one I think we saw might have been Captain Marvel in Endgame, I think. Yeah. But even then, it's not like a stereotypical superhero landing. No, the last one we saw, it was Rescue. That's who it was. She did the full Iron Man pound to the ground thing. Yeah. But yeah, most films had to stop doing them because of it. Yeah. Because all anybody thought of when they saw it was, that's Deadpool. You know? You get a cool little interaction between Francis and Deadpool, where Francis is like, "What's my name?" And you get Deadpool doesn't even shout back to us, "Oh, I'm gonna show you, fucking," Yeah. You can see that he's for you. Yeah. Yeah. So you have the cool little fight scene after Gina Carano jumps down. She fights Colossus because obviously. That's I like that fight. That fight's cool. It's a good mixture of CGI against a real, because that's hard to do. It's hard to have a CGI fighting a real person. And then obviously you finally get to see the X-Men suit and Negasonic Teenage Warhead's powers. I love the X-Men suit. I love them in both Deadpool 1 and 2. I think they look amazing. They don't look dumb. They don't look out of place. They're good.
They don't look as dumb as they could have done.
Yeah, much like Deadpool's suit could come across as goofy, it just doesn't. Yeah. They did it great, you know? So we get to see her literally wipe out a lot of people. Get Wade, where you finally get to see him use his swords properly. He did it in a montage at some point, but again, it's a montage. It's not there for that long. Yeah. You know? I think that's the best moment in that little scene is when he cuts a guy's head off. As he's cut it off, he's jumped, backflipped, and kicked it at two other people and bounced off their heads. Brilliant! It's a very Deadpool. You know, it's that's not going to kill the guys, but it's demoralizing. Yeah, but it's demoralizing. If I was that soldier, I'd be like, you know.
Yeah, I like as well that he knows one of the guys as well.
Yeah. So after he's killed everyone and he's about to kill this found guy, he's like, Bob? You know? But then, he spells out Francis' names with all his goons he's just killed. We get a nice little funny moment between Colossus and Gina where he obviously he gets a punch on her and sends her back, but it disrobes her. Yeah. And I credit for the film, I like that they didn't actually show and I like it. It works with Colossus, and it's good. It's clever censoring.
It works because Colossus would obviously be looking away, so it's kind of like we're seeing it from Colossus' point of view, that he can't see it, so
and
we
then
can't.
I like that she does go, oh, thank you. She appreciates it. Because and then she fully punches him in the dick. But he's made of metal. I'm sure it was fine. Okay. And then we get launched, and that's when, to get up to the helicarrier, we need Negasonic Teenage Warhead to send Deadpool up on the back of like some random piece of metal, which it must be like transfer of energy, because she fucking launches him.
Yeah.
He proper gets sent up there. I love that he screams as well as he's holding on. He's like, like
you would do, wouldn't you?
Yeah. So we get up there, and then this is where we get to the final act, the full final act. We'll get that to Deadpool 2. I think Deadpool 1's final act is stronger than Deadpool 2's. I'll explain why after.
Okay.
But I think I'll be able to convince you on it.
No. Right, so now in Deadpool 2 we've got a scene I'm not too keen on, to be honest. They're all in Blind Al's flat, and Deadpool's got the baby legs, and they're all talking to him, and I like that Domino's in first, that everybody else is freaked out about the baby legs, and Domino's like, oh, that's what you look like? Because she's obviously never seen him without the mask on, and it's a big revelation to her. I like that, because it kind of distracts from the whole baby legs thing, so I don't really like the baby legs thing. It's a bit awkward, a bit too... Yeah. It feels like it was... It was only put in for teenaged audiences, which at the time this movie came out, yes, I was a teenager. Yes, I did enjoy it then. Now, not so much.
I was 18, I think. I was either 18 or 19.
I think I was 19.
19. I would have been 19. Oh, I would have been 18 then, yeah. So I know when I saw it, I know one of my mates was with someone else, like 4 of us went to see it, and they're no longer together, so it was like, that's how I remember seeing the film.
I can't even remember going to see it, I just know that I did. So we get Cable comes in eventually, and I like that it's a bit of a play on the whole he's behind me, isn't he? It's he's behind you, isn't he? He's saying to the other guys that are in there. Because how else would he get in? He can't get in behind Deadpool. He'll just come in through the door like everybody else did.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is the point where Cable changes. He's no longer the villain anymore. He becomes another hero, really, because you realise why he wants to kill Russell. And I like
it's they come to like a mutual hatred.
It's and you understand why he wants to do it, but at the same time, you do kind of go, you're still trying to kill a kid.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like that old saying: if you had a chance to go back in time and kill baby Hitler, would you do it?
Yes.
It's a hard, It's that situation that he's in, really.
Yeah,
and they do bring that up, don't they, as well?
Yeah, but it's like, this is where time travel is like dangerous and can sometimes lose me in a film.
Yeah,
because like
there's always got to be an excuse why they can't do certain things.
Well, it's like Cable wants to kill Russell, but he's only doing that to try and prevent the future. But who's to say that killing him makes it so that his future is no longer destroyed? Like, that's not how that works.
And sometimes it's better the devil you know than the one you don't.
Yeah.
It could be a worse situation. Someone else could end up in that position that would do much worse things. So time travel, it's a very difficult thing to work around, which I think this movie does kind of well, surprisingly. I'll explain that later on.
Okay.
we got the scene, and I like that Deadpool and Cable connect on the fact that they've both lost the most important people in their lives. And it makes it, for the comic book fans out there, we're like, oh, finally, they're best friends now. I mean, they're not actually best friends, but in the comics, they're best friends. So we know that eventually they're going to be best friends. They've got a really close connection, which is really nice. So then after that, we get the scene where they're all in the taxi and they go into the X-Men mansion to go get Colossus. I love that he's boomboxing with his phone. He's just like...
Yeah.
Because nobody has a boombox anymore. I love that it's a reference to the first one. Oh, I can't remember.
Yeah. Was it Careless? It's not Careless Whisper.
It's not Careless Whisper. I would have liked it if it was, but at the same, it'd have been a bit corny if it was Careless Whisper.
Yeah. But it was corny in the first one. That's the whole.
Yeah. I like that. I like as well that he spots Negasonic Teenage Warhead and Yukio, and he's immediately like, "Hi, Yukio." I love that those two have this weird friendship.
Yeah, he likes Yukio a lot, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I think he's just got a massive respect for Negasonic Teenage Warhead as well, though.
Yeah.
So it's like
they dislike each other, but they respect each other, but they don't really dislike each other. And
also, this film does inclusion well. It's not in your face about it.
Yeah, it's just there.
It's like Deadpool. There's a point Deadpool asks them, and they're like, "Yeah, so what?" And that's it. That's all they need to say, and it's great. That's good inclusion. Well done.
Yeah, it's just there. Who cares? Get on with it. It doesn't take up a load of the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
And so with this scene, he can't get Colossus to join him. So he's like, "Oh well, screw you. I don't need you. I've got my own team. I'll go. Saving the day isn't always easy. Sometimes it's hard and gritty and gruesome. And sometimes you have to do not nice things to save the day." I like that it's kind of a bit of a callback to Colossus telling Deadpool that friends show up when it's hard. He's saying, if you aren't going to help me now, you aren't being a good friend, even though, perhaps I wasn't the best friend to you, but I've shown up now that it's hard, and you're not doing it for me.
Basically throwing it all back in his face, isn't it?
Yeah, which is it's really nice.
What I love about this scene is I love Deadpool's suit is duct taped together.
He hasn't got a chance to fix it, duct tape it.
I like the degradation of the costume.
Yeah.
Because it makes me think of like the Arkham games.
Yeah.
Where like in Arkham City when Bruce's cape and suit, gets broken and it stays as it's good. It's nice. It's good to see wear and tear on outfits.
Yeah, it's not gonna be perfect the whole time. And especially if you've been ripped in half, and you don't have chance to fix it because you're immediately straight out, you've got to,
exactly, yeah, exactly. It's good.
Although I imagine if he had any body hair around the areas that have been duct taped, and some of the duct tape's in the wrong spot, no.
He probably can't grow body hair.
No, I don't think he can.
Yeah.
And if you can, it's like the thinnest amounts, so you wouldn't even notice.
Yeah.
So then we start the end fight scene for me. And we've got, they're all getting out of the taxi. And I like that Dopender gets out as well, and he's going to join them. I like that Dopender gets some good character development. Like, he wants to be tough. Kind of realizes he's not when the Juggernaut says, "I'm going to shove him up your ass." He's just like, I'm going to go get in the car.
I love that Deadpool, throughout, is kind of worried about Dopender as well, because he's sort of getting a bit masochistic. Yeah, but it's because Dopender's literally it's not like Dopender wants to be tough; he wants to kill someone.
Yeah, that's all he wants to do. He doesn't want to be tough.
No, he just wants to kill someone. Deadpool's like, Deadpool of all people's like, no,
don't do it.
Yeah. And there's a line here just before the big CGI fight, where that I like, because it was just after Infinity War, where he just turns to Josh Brolin and goes, "Zip it, Thanos!"
Yeah,
I like it. I like that a lot.
It was good casting. I mean, I would have liked if, in the original, in the end credits scene, they joke about how Cable could be Dolph Lundgren. I would have liked that, but we'd have missed out on that joke.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you could have done another joke referencing Rocky, but
they would have just had a, like, if when Juggernaut and him start fighting, if Cable like lifted Juggernaut up or something, all you would have got is like Deadpool in the background going, "I must break you," and that would have been it. It wouldn't have been. It wouldn't have been worth it.
No, they'd have put something in, but would it have been the same? I don't think so.
No, zip it, and it's because it's Marvel, and they've had DC references in this as well. It just worked. It works really well.
Yeah.
And then
so I'll keep going through the fight scene because the last scene is at the end of the fight scene. Where's your last scene? So they have the fight scene. Colossus shows up and he fights Juggernaut, which I like that Deadpool's like, we're going to get a big CGI fight. So he big even CGI knows in his movie that it's all CGI. I like Russell getting closer and closer to that guy. He's like, "Say it!" He's so angry at him. And the guy still isn't giving up that he believes that he's in the right. Even faced with this, he's willing to fight to the end for what he believes in. What he believes in is horrible, but he's willing to stick with it.
Stuck to his guns.
I find I find it a bit odd that Negasonic Teenage Warhead and Yukio show up quite late in the fight. Really, Colossus nearly has Juggernaut beaten, and then they show up and just give a little bit of a helping hand at the end. It's like, didn't they just go with Colossus? How did he show up before them? I don't know. Maybe Yukio had to get her electric, I don't know what they are, ready. And maybe they take time. Maybe they weren't in their gear, because I know that in that scene you see that Colossus is already wearing his X-Men gear, because of course he is. He probably wears it non-stop. So maybe they weren't in their X-Men gear.
Maybe. I don't know.
A bit odd.
It could have been like Colossus asked them to stay behind.
Yeah, and then they suddenly decided. Yeah, but if it was that, I feel like we would have gotten a scene with them saying, "No, we need to be there and help him." I like Domino getting the kids out. She fights those guys, and everything just sort of goes her way fighting them. She doesn't even have to really lift a finger.
One has the neck snapped a really gruesome way, don't they?
Yeah.
It's like off a bedpost. It's awful.
It's really nasty.
The film's really gory. The second one.
Yeah, it is, weirdly. I like it as
they just went all out.
Yeah. I like that it links to the Colossus and Juggernaut fight, because she says, "I need a bus to get you all out of here." And then suddenly, boom, bus.
Yeah.
I really like that. It tickles me.
Domino's just a good character.
Yeah.
Because you can make everything work.
Yeah.
It's great.
Like, you can literally...
There's
so much that you can do with that power.
Yeah.
That you just need to be creative. Somebody a lot more creative than me. I'm not creative.
Right.
So, they've still got... you've got Deadpool and Cable have their fight with their group of guys, and Deadpool's not got anything left, so he asks, "Can I use one of your guns?" "No." "Okay, I'll just use this brick." And you get the maximum effort line as well. And then you can see them bonding just a little bit, because Deadpool's like, only best friends murder pedos together. It's great.
Such a good line.
Cable doesn't want to admit it, but they're becoming friends.
Yeah.
You get, and then after that, you eventually get the scene where Cable, where Deadpool tries to convince Russell not to kill the guy. It doesn't work, so he ends up having to put the collar on, and Cable's like, oh, and Deadpool does the jump, gets hit, and then, so I'll leave it there for now. You finish your movie, and then I'll finish mine. And then
I think I've got the better fight scene.
Right.
Because like, as much as I appreciate the joke of calling out it's a big CGI fight, the CGI
isn't just CGI.
Or it's a bit spotty.
Yeah.
Because like, I think they tried to mix in too many elements with it at points. And it's like the fight between Ajax and Deadpool it's simple. There is some CG in there, obviously. But for the most part, it's very simple. And what's great about that fight is they can both go all in on each other. You know, like they don't have to deflect every blow. They can, like, Deadpool can get hit, and so can Ajax. For the most part, he can take hits anywhere. You know, unless it's a vital organ. So it's like, you get Deadpool gets stabbed in the back and flung into a crate. You get a really cool scene where Ajax throws his axe. Deadpool catches it, but because of the weight of it, ends up having to spin around with it and then throws it back. You know, that's a cool way to like repose. Throw it. And Ajax actually wins the first little fight.
Yeah, he does.
As best as you can win against Deadpool. He knees him in the face against the crate and then stabs him in the head. But obviously in this time, Vanessa's broken out of her little the oxygen deprivation tank, and rugby tackles or something Ajax, something like that. Knocks him to the ground, and then Deadpool pulls the knife out, and then he's like, he has the nice little. I find it's funny that somebody who's just been stabbed in the brain, they probably would see a lot. I like that Vanessa calls him an arsehole as well. Because like, she's angry at him for like she didn't care that he might have been disfigured. That wasn't she. So she calls him an arsehole for just disappearing. And then obviously, so what happens next? Like, Ajax is like on the floor, hurt. Deadpool's hurt, and Vanessa's like, she's a human, she can't do too much. And then Next Teenage Warhead has to save Cable, Colossus, doesn't she? She has to use a lot of power anyway, and she basically blows up the whole wreckage. So obviously you get the tilting bit. Deadpool gets to save Vanessa in a very cool way. Like he basically stuffs her back in. Locks it, and then it's bulletproof / crush proof for some reason, but sure, it's fine. And then we lose everyone for a minute in the wreckage. We see that Colossus finds Vanessa, and then you get a cool little scene where Ajax is like stood. No, Deadpool's like stood on top, and he's shouting down to them. And then next thing you know, he gets fucking speared out of nowhere by Ajax down the rest of the wreckage. They have a little spat again. Deadpool wins this one, gets him on the ground. He's like basically severed his tendons. The guy can't move. He's got a gun to his head, and then Colossus comes in with his whole like it's basically like a one act of random kind of speech.
3 or 4 moments.
Can like save
hero, blah 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 blah
blah. And then I love that in the moment of him saying, "And if you can just bang," just fucking kills the villain. I love it. It's the perfect, because like, even without being able to see his face, you can see Deadpool's mind go, no. Like, he's decided. You can literally go, I'm killing this man.
No matter what you say, he's dead.
Colossus throws up, but like, Ajax needs to die. if they'd left him alive, I think it would have been very anti-Deadpool. It would not have been.
It wouldn't have been him.
And I like that Colossus like blows over it eventually. No, he's just like, right. Yeah.
It's just Deadpool, you know.
Then we get a nice little moment. Yeah, we get a nice little moment with Vanessa, and where you don't think she's gonna forgive him, and then he's like, he talks about a house, and then she has a nice little throwback, and she's like, "So you have a house?" You know, it's good. And then you get the face reveal where he's wearing Hugh Jackman's face.
He's just stapled it on.
He's stapled it on, yeah, and then she's got to pick it off.
Yeah.
But they end up being together still, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
You get the payoff with the Careless Whisper joke.
Yeah.
You get Negasonic Teenage Warhead who turns and goes, "It's all right, you're cool," and you get Deadpool like,
"That wasn't mean."
Mean. I see you're growing. You know. Yeah, and then it ends on Ryan Reynolds singing the wham. You know. I like how it's a love story. That's how it is. You know.
Yeah.
That's how it ends.
Yeah.
And then you get the really funny end credits where it's like, it basically takes the piss out of like the Steve Rogers in Homecoming, in a sense. But it's Ferris Bueller's day off. Obviously, but it's like, why are you still here? The movie's over. Leave.
Yeah.
You know, it's a good end credits. I like it.
I like it. I like it because I love Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
I don't know what it is about it, but it just feels. What ruins the end scene for me is what you're about to say. In Deadpool 2, what ruins it is this thing where a few times they drag a joke on too long. And Deadpool's death, you know.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I do know what you mean.
It goes on too long.
Yeah. So I'll talk about this
and
now.
I also did not need to see Juggernaut's cheeks.
No.
That joke didn't work for me in theaters.
So you know, Deadpool's put the collar on, and he's jumped in front of the bullet, and he's dying. I also like that in this scene, his suit has been turned grey, because obviously that's his X-Force suit, which I believe I have somewhere.
It's a great suit.
I've got it.
Nice.
I like that he's
a cool suit.
Yeah, you know, they've used his proper X-Force suit.
And it wasn't like shoehorned in.
No, it was done in a clever way.
It actually worked.
Yeah.
It's ash in it.
It is, yeah.
Like coated is, yeah.
So Deadpool's dying, and it's quite an emotional scene, and it does. I will admit, it does get drawn out a bit too long. But then when he finally does,
like
go,
they could have
nice.
Left it at the second joke.
Yeah,
and I would have been like,
the second one would have done it. You know,
but they do it like 4 times. It's like,
it's a bit much. Like the second one, he could have done the whole "I'll give you my watch" and this and that. And, you know, it's a bit much. But I do like that when he's dead, he finally gets to reconnect with Vanessa, and he says sorry to her. Because that's all he wanted, really. He just wanted to say sorry that he couldn't save her. And she accepts his apology and says that you need to go back, though, for your family. And at this same time, we've got Cable. You know, he's winding his thing. He's going to go back in time, but not, you know, he's going to change events. And
he's got to try and save Deadpool, basically.
I like that he doesn't do it with letting him know. But he just does that on him, and you get a new line from Deadpool, you know, and then suddenly flash forward, and he's dying again, and then he pulls out the thing, genuine high-grade lead. And then obviously he talks to Cable, but what are you going to do? You can't go back now. He's like, I'm going to stay here, make sure the world stays on the right tracks. I think the reason that makes time travel work in this movie is that Cable doesn't go back forwards in time because he can't. If he goes back forwards in time, he's on the wrong timeline. If he stays there, he could maybe just about. I don't I'm not a theoretical physicist, but maybe he can just about coast along long enough.
Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff.
Don't, because people are going to start asking us to do that eventually. That's going to never end, that argument.
That's way down the line. I love in the Vanessa scene. The Vanessa scene's nice, but I love the acoustic version of Take On Me as well, just because that song's amazing.
Yeah, I really.
It worked in the moment.
It did.
Yeah. The Vanessa scene's nice.
Mm-hmm. And then obviously after you've got the whole high grade lead thing, and they realise he's fine. They're trying to get the collar off, and he's still trying to die. He's like, "No, don't bother. You can't get it off." And Domino's like, "What about 7?" And that's it. And I like that he acknowledges lazy writing, because that's kind of what Domino's powers allows you to do, though. It allows you to have lazy writing. Yeah. So I think if you don't do it too much and you acknowledge that it's lazy, I think it works. If you use it as a crutch to hold up a movie, it doesn't work. But because it's only done a little bit, and it's taken the mick out of, it works. And then you get the scene with them all walking away, happily ever after, and Dopender runs over the guy that Russell was trying to kill.
It's Dopender got to kill the guy.
And
I love the shock faces on everyone as well. They're like,
"Oh God."
Yeah.
So what if Dopender ends up being the new version of Russell in the future?
Imagine that man destroying the world.
And then you've got the end credits scene where Deadpool gets the ability to time travel, which is single-handedly the best thing and the worst thing that could ever happen.
Again, it's a very good end credit scene, because it's basically Ryan Reynolds gets free reign to take the piss out of himself. You get him killing the sewed up mouth crap Deadpool, which is funny. Like, I'm sad that Hugh Jackman wasn't there for it.
No,
but it's like
it would have.
I love that.
It's still great.
Just doing you a favour, and then you get.
He doesn't take any chances either. He does a few more shots as well.
Yeah, he does it once. He shoots it in the head, and then he says his line, and then he's like, "It feels like those were personal." You get the. He does go back and kill baby Hitler, doesn't he?
I don't know.
I think he goes back and kills somebody other than
he kills the guy that was going to kill Vanessa, so Vanessa stays alive.
Okay.
So does that mean that in the next movie Vanessa's going to be alive then?
I don't know if they're
canon or not.
I think they were just a fun little because there's also he goes to the real world, doesn't he?
Yeah,
and he shoots Ryan Reynolds in the head.
The Green Lantern script.
Well done, nice one, Reynolds. You made it.
You're welcome, America.
It's a good way to end the film.
Yeah.
You see, concluding them both, right? I think the themes in Deadpool 2 are stronger than the themes in Deadpool 1.
Yeah, definitely.
But without 1, Deadpool 2 doesn't work.
No. Deadpool 2 relies so much on Deadpool 1.
There's certain jokes you won't get if you didn't watch Deadpool 1.
Yeah.
But it's like I say, there's a lot of CG. See, this is where also Deadpool 2 had a massive advantage in everything it could do because it had more money.
Yeah.
So even if those, let's say he couldn't, if Warner Brothers decided, oh, we're gonna sue you, let's say they sue them 20 years down the line for the Deadpool joke, for the Batman jokes. They would be able to pay that now because of the success of Deadpool 2.
Yeah.
But Deadpool 1 couldn't take those risks.
No.
Because if it flopped,
Yeah, because
it's
I know that for years and years the hardcore was calling out for a Deadpool movie,
and everybody wanted it to be Ryan Reynolds.
Nobody knew what a Deadpool was apart from the hardcore, so it was a big risk.
Yeah,
you do have to respect
again.
Them for doing
We wouldn't. What I think helps give Deadpool 1 a lot of. Deadpool. I think Deadpool 1's funnier at points, simply because, like I say, the only issue with the comedy in 2, I think they're on par comedy-wise, to be honest. But all that ruins Deadpool's 2 comedy for me is those long drawn out ones that are a bit like
I do,
Deadpool 1 doesn't have any of those. They have a joke, move on. They don't linger on. So I do think Deadpool 1's probably got it in terms of comedy if it's not got the like Deadpool 2 would win if it didn't have the long drawn out ones. It's like Deadpool 1, but Deadpool 1, its plot it's not spotty, it's just not relevant, really.
It's a movie that realistically you could have done the whole thing without a plot, and it still
it would work.
Yeah,
exactly.
2 is very plot focused.
Yeah, you've got the in Deadpool 1 you've got the origin story. It works, and they you didn't need to know Vanessa for the.
No, I do think that in Deadpool 1 you could have done the whole movie without the origin story, but I watched Deadpool 1 at the same when I rewatched it for this. I watched it with my girlfriend, and she's not a hardcore comic reader. She's never read a comic book in her life. And she said that if she hadn't seen the origin story, she'd have been a lot more confused as to who he is and why he's doing what he's doing. So I think
exactly.
For comic book readers such as ourselves, we kind of go, well, that's not needed. But you have to look at it through the lens of people have never heard of him.
Yeah, well, that's because we're all origined out at this point as well, though.
Yeah.
We're this people. It's Hollywood listened for once as well after we said that, because we were all sick of seeing Martha and Thomas Wayne die. We're all sick of we're sick of it. We don't need to see another Grandpa Ben.
We don't need to see
Uncle Ben. Sorry.
We don't need to see with great power comes great responsibility. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, we don't need it all. We get it. We know this about these characters now. So for Deadpool, it was needed.
Yeah.
Because not everyone understands how the regeneration factor comes about.
No.
Why can't this guy die? Yeah. So Deadpool 1 really does well. And again, it's all credit to Ryan Reynolds. Without him, it's his passion project. All credit goes to him for it. Without him, and obviously the fans and stuff, it wouldn't have got made at all. Literally, without him leaking that footage, we wouldn't have a Deadpool film. So the success of these films is massively built on just his raw talent and charisma as well. So it's I think Deadpool 2's got stronger characters. Because Deadpool 1's very limited in cast.
Yeah, there's not many people there, really.
Yeah, and again, the villains are a bit shit.
Yeah, I mean, Ajax is just your kind of stereotypical, we need a villain. Well, let's just make him British because British people are always the villain. Why are we always the villain? Do we just sound scary, America? Please explain this to me.
Well, again, ask David Tennant. He makes British scary.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does.
So
it's always your stereotypical posh Londoner, though. The accent that they go for a villain. It's never you're never going to get a villain that's like, hey, up me duck, I'm going down shit pub.
Yeah. Well, it's because we all know that Cockneys are scum.
Oh god! Oh god!
Starting fights.
Yeah, you've just annoyed millions of people.
Shame.
Oh god! Oh god!
Yeah, it's I don't know. I do think Deadpool 2 is better. I think you're winning this one.
So
just simply because.
I'm just going to quickly say that with Deadpool 2, I prefer that it's not bogged down with the origin story. It can kind of go in for a better plot than origin story. And
I suppose
I do find some of the comedy, as you said, a lot oh god, why are we still hanging on this? It's like kind of like when I was a teenager and I watched Family Guy, because when you're a teenager you love Family Guy, and then you grow up and you realize this is terrible. But when you're a teenager and it has those moments where, say, somebody falls over and they go, and they're there for like a minute, and you go, oh, for God's sake, hurry up. It feels like
funny anymore. Yeah.
I know they do it on purpose to be annoying, but doing something on purpose to be annoying doesn't make it less annoying.
No. And it's more annoying when your program or film it knows it's annoying. Like when it's like
it knows it's doing it.
When I hate when films are like, haha, we hate this too. It's like, shut the fuck up. No.
Yeah.
You don't get to say you dislike it and then still do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I get what you mean. I think as well with both these movies, I think the older I get, the more I start to prefer Deadpool 2. So I feel like Deadpool 1 has a lot more immature comedy, even though Deadpool 2 still has, of course, immature comedy. But Deadpool 2 has a stronger plot to even it out, I'd say, which makes me prefer it as I get older.
They're both incredible films.
Yeah, they're both fantastic.
And again, I do think what doesn't, I stand by it. It's like it's just the budget issues. I think is what probably caused a lot of it.
Deadpool 1 could have been so much more if it had the budget.
Yeah, it's what happens.
Yeah.
And like Deadpool, and you really feel it when you rewatch it a few times, because you, like I say, you notice how there's 3 montages. There might even be more than that in the film, and like because it is a fast-paced film, you don't really notice them.
Yeah.
But when you rewatch them, it's like, oh my god.
Yeah. It's like, are we still doing this?
It's a bit excessive.
Yeah. Are we still bringing this up? Why? Yeah. Just a personal point as well, Deadpool needs better swords.
I'm not getting into this.
Just a personal thing. I'm not going to say any more than that. He needs better swords.
It's comic accurate though. So
yes, I know, but still, I don't like it. Anyway, tell us what you guys think, whether you prefer Deadpool 1 or Deadpool 2. We'd be happy to hear anything you say. If you hate both of us, if you hate both of the movies, or you hate us, just let us know.
If you hate both the movies, you're wrong.
You're not just wrong, but you're stupid.
You're stupid.
Join us next time, guys, and we shall argue
for Pirates of the Caribbean.
For Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah. Sweet. All right. He's been Luke.
And he's been Dom, and we'll see you all later.
Bye-bye.